Let's talk about gentrification.
Most of us got what we got because we got some information. We got some facts. Somebody told us something. Somebody showed us something. Somebody in another generation or economic class showed us something. Our part in it, say I'm the younger guy, our part is we had to listen. The key to all of it is anybody can give you information. Anybody can give you statistics and facts. But if you ain't absorbing it, right? But here it is. If you ain't absorbing it, how you gonna follow through with anything? So I'll say me.
Don't you got to have confirmation of the information? You ain't gonna reach nobody. I'm gonna say that right now.
You
still gotta make the choice.
You still gotta make the choice.
Let me just say this. The community need to understand. In our community, we ain't no panhandlers. Ain't nobody sitting up here making no excuses for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because you got people to thrive. But then when you got executives, when you got business owners, you gotta make it fun for people to learn. You can't crack no whip and think people finna come down, sit down and listen till you speak because who you think you is and what you think you know. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said the disconnect. That's the whole point of why we sitting right here right now is because people ain't able to connect. Only way you're gonna be able to connect, only way you're gonna be able to connect to people, to the kids, it's just like preschool. You gotta make learning fun. You know what I'm saying? And what the people into. You know, bonds is created by commonalities. You know what I'm saying? People gravitate towards things they can relate to. So you gotta make, you wanna talk about money? You gotta show them what money's synonymous with. We got a businessman off up in here, show these kids how easy it is to make $1 million. Don't tell them how hard it is. We ain't gonna sit here and criticize and scrutinize. We ain't gonna sit up here and tell you, oh man, you lazy because you should be doing it like this. I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna make you wanna make it. I'm gonna say, man, it's so easy, man. What you know, man, you sitting up there looking at Mayweather, do you know what he did? And then you just tell them the story and they be sitting up there all ears like, for real, that's all I gotta go do? A, B, and C.
One comment about gentrification. I just want to make one comment about gentrification. It is the best thing that the Liberal Party has ever done. What they've done is they've undermined the community by removing the father in the household with social programs like welfare. Once you do that, once you remove the father from the household, the mother's in a financial strain. Once that happens, the child has no guidance. The child has no guidance, then he gets involved in things like gangs and things like that. Once he gets involved with gangs, he creates, he's part of the gangs and homicides. It destroys the community. The value of the community drops down to almost where it's nothing. The people who laughed at us and said that, they're here for us and those Republicans or those people over there are racist, many of the liberals have turned around and bought these properties right above theirs for nothing, right? So now they're laughing, they're looking at us. And what do? They're putting coffee shops and all these things in their community, and we're the ones laughing. So things like rent control, where they put us pretty much, they say, you know what? African Americans or black people, whatever, rent control is good for you. What it does, it puts us in a situation where we're in the slums, right? Because you look at it, your rent doesn't go up, so it's a gammy for you. The landlord looks at it as like that's less maintenance I got to put in a situation. So you go to any community, with the exception of San Francisco, in areas where there's rent control or heavy Section 8, you will see a depressed community. And once people do that, the community falls apart and people move in as investors and they buy buildings. Look at Detroit right now. So in reality, it is the best thing. We sit back and we are letting it happen because we're supporting a party.
Quit selling your property.
Don't destroy your
black people out there that got property. Quit selling your property, man.
So question. So what advice do we give to the young kids? Obviously, folks around here, it seems like everyone's done pretty well for themselves here. We found a way to make it in one way or another. But what advice do we give the young kids? Because some of the kids, like my son's right here, he's 16. 2 years.
Different types of advices, like he
2 years gonna be a man.
Gravitate to what you can do to get there.
Yeah. So again, I'm talking about gentrification, right? And how we take back our communities, right? How we stop that process from happening. What advice would you give the younger generation to stop that? I mean,
They gotta stop disrespecting each other and going against each other. See, first of all, we gotta stop saying, hey, the suckers. Like, we gotta stop imputing the kids like older people. You gotta stop. When you see people be talking crazy against each other, y'all can watch that.
Quit teaching our kids to be followers. Raise leaders. You know what I'm saying? Give them the information, equip them with the tools to survive.
Leaders,
you know what I'm saying?
leaders raise leaders.
Like you was on your
Yeah,
son.
so leaders raise leaders. Followers raise followers.
My son's 13 years old, right? And I tell him, I said, there's two things he needs to learn, two things he needs to do, really, is he needs to know another language. You go to every country I've been to, we're on a communist, socialist, every other country I've been to, they speak English. They speak their native language, they speak English, sometimes they speak a third language. So I would recommend any team you need to speak another language, whether it's Spanish, Russian, German, whatever you pick. And they give it in school, you can do it free online. And the other thing too is find a field of interest that is demanding. So when I say that, is that when you look at Chinese or Indians or whatever, a lot of them do engineering, right? Yep. So poor kids have a better advantage because there's financial aid. So if your parents make XYZ amount of money, you don't have that. So poor kids actually have a better advantage in a situation of financially being able to go to college than if their parents have more money. So so certification, something like electrician, plumber, whatever that's a demanding degree that pays them a substantial amount of money. And then that puts them in a position so they have buying power. And once they have buying power, then they can do stuff like entrepreneur and things like that. So those two things I would say, demanding degree and a foreign language.
Invest in the family.
Invest.
You know what I'm saying? Look at what the other people do. You know what I'm saying? Around you. You talk about immigrants. Immigrants know how to get along. They know how to come inside the house, hit the flow, run it. We all finna to get hustling. We all finna to be working. And then we all finna to try to be entrepreneurs. They ain't sticking to be employees for long. You look up, everybody in that house own a business. Everybody in that house got credit. You know what I'm saying? I go up in the bank. I go up in the bank. I see the mama with 3 kids and all of them in line to get credit. They ain't, you know what I'm saying?
So the message is invest your money in stuff that's gonna pay a return, or ROI, return on investment. So if I'm telling the young cat, I'm not telling him, man, you should have an apartment with a Mercedes and all the badass clothes. I'm saying, go buy a house, invest in your family, invest in your community,
I'm telling you, Donald Trump
they
got
can't
96
move you out of something that you own.
I'm gonna tell you that Donald Trump got 96 LLCs and a business is a full-grown person in 2 years, and you can get a corporate loan for $500,000 or better if your principal is 680 or better, and all you have to do is have the business for 2 years. So you sitting up there, and what he ain't gonna know what that means, then that's just striking a match right there. Boom, he gonna be like 500,000 in 2 years. What I gotta do? That's a lick. Boom.
What I teach my son,
who ain't gonna know?
This is what I teach my son.
Who ain't gonna know what that is?
This is what I
Man, you talking about, man? Hold up, man. Gloves off, man. I self-educated myself in a cell. I did 12 years in the penitentiary, man. Point blank period. I ain't never did a lick of school. You know what I'm saying? Anybody went to school with me, I never was a school dude. People at school was spooked up. Point blank period. I couldn't even go to school without being off in the office. You know what I'm saying? 5 chains, 10 ranks. You know what I'm saying? I was in the dope gang. And it's the truth. You feel me? Got shipped off, went to the penitentiary. I ain't want to hear nothing from nobody. So when you talk about a knucklehead, you looking at one. And now I'm sitting up here, I can talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why? I just said it, willpower. You know what I'm saying? I was facing a situation. I ain't had no education. I picked up a book just because I was bored. We was on lockdown. I was on lockdown for 2 years, and the psych walking around on the tier, and I just got tired of looking at Ellen DeGeneres on motherfucking TV. So I told her, pass me a book, and I learned, that's where I learned developmental psychology.
You made a decision.
You know what I'm saying? That's when, inside the penitentiary is where I learned how to do stocks, so people can learn. But you know what it was? What made it is because I had somebody put it in front of me. It was a way, it was a form of teaching. It's an approach. The responsibility on the publisher is to, when you expressing yourself, when you talking, the responsibility is upon you to reach people, not on them to listen. Because you got to teach your approach, because it's on your delivery.